Hi everyone, in this video we will understand about the meaning of goods and services. Goods are material things wanted by human beings. They can be seen or touched. Example of goods are food, medicines, book, notebooks, pen, paper. And the aim of goods are to satisfy some of our wants. Services, on the other hand, are non-material things. These cannot be seen or touched, but their effect can only be felt. Examples of services are haircut, ironing of clothes, mending of shoes, stitching of clothes, studying in a school or a college, which are satisfied by services performed by a barber, washerman, cobbler, tailor, teacher, etc. Hence, all human wants can either be satisfied by goods or services. Now, let's understand about classification of goods. Free goods and economic goods. Goods which have unlimitedly supplied to us and are free gifts of nature are known as free goods. We don't have to pay for them and they are not man-made. Some examples of free goods are air, sea, water, sunlight, sand in the desert. On the other hand, goods like vegetable, grains, minerals, fruits, fish, etc., which are neither man-made nor unlimitedly supplied to us by nature, are known as economic goods. These goods are sold and purchased in market in exchange of monetary value. The other type of goods are consumer goods and capital goods. Consumer goods are the goods which are directly used for consumption. For example, the bread, biscuit, butter, jam, rice, shoes, shirt, fan, book, pen, cooking gas, etc. are used by the end consumers for their personal consumption. Producer goods or capital goods are the goods which are not directly used to satisfy the need for end consumption but are used for further production, such as seeds, fertilizer, tools, machine, raw materials are some of the examples of capital goods. Now you may get confused that the flour purchased by a person can be a consumer good or a capital good. Let's understand this. If a person is purchasing flour for his personal consumption, for household consumption, then that flour will be an example of consumer good. But if the same flour is being purchased by a bakery or a confectionery shop and they are manufacturing cakes, pastries, biscuits, cookies and breads from that flour, then that flour will be an example of a producer goods. The other type of goods are single-use goods and durable goods. Single-use goods are the consumer goods which are used or consumed for a single time, such as bread, milk, fruits, vegetable. These are known as the single-use goods. They have a very less perishable value. They easily get consumed and the perishability is very high. Seeds, fertilizers, raw materials, etc. are example of single-use producer goods. Once they are bought and these are consumed, they can be only consumed for once. We cannot reuse it. On the other hand, durable goods are the goods which are used for a considerable period. Once they are bought, they can be used again and again. For example, table, chair, clothes, electronic items like refrigerator, ACs, washing machine are some of the example of durable consumer goods. They have a longer shelf life and longer period of life. The other category of goods are the private goods and public goods. So, private goods and public goods are the categorization of goods on the basis of ownership. Like who owns these type of goods. Private goods are the goods which are owned by private bodies which are meant for their personal use, like a personal car, a personal house, a personal motorbike, a personal mobile phone, personal books, etc. whereas public goods are the goods which are used by a larger number of people and they are owned by the society or government. For example, the roads, bridges, hospitals, government schools, etc. Now you may get confused that books are private goods or public goods because books can be there in library. If you are buying a book for yourself and you are the single owner of a book, then it will be a private good. And if a library is buying the books and students are collectively using those books, then it will be an example of a public good, and that book will be a public good. Now let's understand different types of services. There are different types of services like free service and economic service. Services which cannot be bought in market and which are only rendered out of love affection are known as free services. For example, all the services which are given to us by our parents out of their love and affection is an example of free service. However, all the services which carry an economic value and they are exchanged with some monetary in terms of some monetary terms, those are known as economic service. Such services are rendered by doctors, teachers, lawyers, barbers, cobblers, etc. Now let's discuss one of the service which we might get confused whether it is a free service or economic service. For example, a child is confused to take up which subject he should study in grade 10 and grade 11 in grade 12. If he takes the suggestion from his parents, then the counseling service that his parents has given to him will be an example of free service. On the other hand, if that child goes to a career counselor and he then takes a counseling session, then it will be an economic service because the career counselor will be charging him. Some other types of services are consumer service and producer service. Consumer services are the services that are directly used by the consumer to satisfy their personal needs and personal wants. On the other hand, producer services are the services that are used by producers to produce other goods and services. For example, when you go to a tailor and ask him to stitch a shirt for yourself, then it will be an example of a consumer service. And if suppose a merchandise or an apparel outlet gives him a contract to stitch shirts for them, then it will be an example of consumer service. So these were the different types of services in marketing. Now let's understand what do we understood by goods and services continuum. Goods and services continuum enables marketers to see the relative goods and services composition of the total products. A product's position in the continuum in turn enables marketers to spot the opportunities. In the goods and services continuum, there are two ends, that is the pure goods end and the pure services end. At the pure goods end, all the products that are not at all related with services are positioned, and on the other hand, pure services end, all the services which are not at all related with goods are positioned. The products that are combination of goods and services, they fall in between the two ends. For example, goods such as furnaces which require accompanying services such as delivery and installation are situated towards the pure good end. Products that involve sale of both goods and services such as automobile shops are near to the center, and the products that are primarily service based like taxis etc. are located towards the pure services end. So that's all in this lecture. Thank you.